New videos every day. Psyche Truth. Life. Wisdom.
Hey everybody, it's Erica Vetra. Welcome back. This is part 3 of my beginner-friendly series for weight loss, detox, and fat burning. So please get started on your mat in a standing position. Feel free to favorite this video, comment on it, like it, do it as much as you want. It's going to be a fun one, so make sure you got some energy. All right, so we're going to start standing today. Come to the top of your mat, put your feet together, find your mountain pose, Tadasana. Arms down by your sides. Sink your heels down into your mat. So get a really strong foundation, right? Kind of gently grip the ground with your toes. Press down in the big toe ball mounds of your feet, press down in your heels, and then lift your inner arches up. So the stronger foundation you have, the more you can lift, and the more secure you'll feel. So lift your kneecaps up. Point your tailbone straight down towards the ground. So no back arching, no back rounding, right? Start to get really tall, almost as if you were leaning against a wall behind you. As you inhale, draw your shoulders up towards your ears and exhale them back and down your spine. So we're going to start in tree pose today. So it's especially important for you to get a really kind of firm grip on the ground. You're going to keep your right foot planted and then lift your left foot up. So there are a few variations of tree pose. Kickstanding toes, which means your heel is going to rest on your ankle. If you want a little bit more, you're going to put your left foot on the inside of your right calf. Or if you want to go even further, you're going to bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. The only place you don't want your foot is on your knee, right? You never want lateral pressure on your knee. And so just take a second here. It can be challenging to start off a yoga practice in a standing balance pose. You know, you're not quite warm yet. But I want you to think about really focusing here. Bring your hands to prayer. You're totally welcome to hold onto your foot with your hand. That's absolutely fine. Keep your tailbone pointing down. Start to soften your left knee out to the left. And just take a couple breaths to focus. And while we're here, I'd like to share with you that next week I'm really excited. I'm actually leaving for a trip up north to visit my family. I'm from upstate New York, so I get to go there and visit my mom and my family. And I'm excited, but I'm a little bit nervous about flying. So hopefully everything will be fine. And I'd like to know, are you nervous about flying? Do you have any kind of anxiety around it? Or are you one of those totally chilled out, fine travelers, like no problem at all? I guess I would drive if I could, but it wouldn't really be, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. All right, so from here, you're going to grab your left knee with both of your hands and squeeze it into your chest. So if you need to touch your left foot down to the ground at any point, that's totally fine. But bring your left knee into your chest. At the same time, drop your left hip down so you're really compressing the front of your left hip, your hip flexor. Draw your shoulders back. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Take one more deep breath in and one more deep breath out. And then you're going to release your knee, but keep your leg lifted. Inhale your arms to the sky. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands back to prayer. This is the tricky part. Put a soft bend in your right knee and step your left foot as far back as it'll go. Once you touch down, bring your hands to frame your right foot. So this is what we call low lunge, runner's lunge. Right knee is going to stack right over your right ankle, and then you kind of scoot your left foot as far back as it'll go. Stay here for a moment, square your hips off to the ground, so pull your right hip back, pull your left hip forward, plant your left hand on the ground, and then start to peel your right arm to the sky. This is a low twisting lunge. So at this point, you can either be on your left fingertips or you can be flat down on your left palm, whatever is more comfortable for you, as long as you don't lock out your joints, right? And pull your shoulders away from your ears, really turn your heart to the sky, take one more deep breath in, and then as you exhale, bring your hands back down to frame your foot. So we're going to step back to plank pose now, top of a push-up. Plant your palms firmly, step right foot back next to meet your left, and stay here for a couple breaths. Maybe you're starting to feel some heat. Push your heels back, and then again, like I always say, you can modify this pose by taking your knees down, as long as your knees stay in line with your shoulders. So as long as your hips don't start to creep up, it's not tabletop pose. You're going to squeeze your hips towards your ribs. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to come all the way down to your belly with control. nice and slow. Untuck your toes, and on your inhale, lift your heart into cobra pose. Really fire up those back muscles. Squeeze your elbows together. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can float your palms off your mat. Use your back muscles to lift your heart as high as you can. Press your hips down into your mat. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, release. Tuck your toes. Engage your core, coming back up through plank pose, using your knees or not. Inhale, lift. And then as you exhale, come to your downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Drop your head low, and take a couple breaths. And so this is the first down dog of this class, of this workout. So, just kind of pedal it out, feel your way into it. Notice the difference between the two sides of your body. And then press all of your weight evenly between your fingers, finger pads, knuckle mounds, all the fleshy parts of your hands, right? And as you're ready, make your way back to neutral. Look between your hands, come up high onto the balls of your feet, and then just baby step your way to the top of your mat. Coming to Uttanasana, forward fold. So this is about really elongating your spine, and that means that you don't want to put any pressure on it. So if it's rough on your low back, go ahead and bend your knees. You can even just rest your whole torso on your thighs. See if you can drop your head all the way down. And if your neck is relaxed, it means the rest of your spine can release. Bring your hands to the ground. On your inhale, flatten your back, lift halfway. And then exhale, fold right back down. Coming to standing, so you're going to keep your knees soft, but flatten your back, pull your shoulders down away from your ears. And then inhale, stretch all the way up. Touch your palms together above, look past your hands. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer. So coming into the other side, tree pose. Keep in mind that standing balance poses, we know that they're challenging. One side might be a little easier than the other, so just be patient. Plant your left foot down on the ground real firm, kind of grip the ground with your toes, and then work into your tree pose. So maybe first it's your right heel on your left ankle with your toes on the ground. Maybe move up to the inside of your left calf. If you want to go further, skip the knee, bypass your knee, put your right foot on the inside of your left thigh, and then you can kind of push your foot and your thigh together to hold your foot up there. And feel free to hold your foot with your hand. Let your right knee soften out to the left. And as you work towards stillness, just kind of relax your mind, breathe, relax your face. So coming back to this topic of travel, I really love to travel. I've been traveling for a really long time, ever since I was, I think, in elementary school. I remember one time I was on an airplane with my dad and the band that he used to play in. And at one point, all the band members got up on the airplane in the middle of the flight and started playing a song and singing. And they all had their trumpets and their guitars and everything on the plane with them. It was the funniest thing in the world, and no one on the plane knew what to make of it. But if you have a funny travel story, feel free to comment below or message me. I'd love to hear it. And then as you're ready, you're going to bring your right knee in. Keep your right foot off the ground. Again, if you need to touch down, that's totally fine. Hug your right knee into your chest with both of your hands. Draw your right hip down. Point your tailbone at the ground. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Really open your heart. Keep your gaze soft. Squeeze your right hip flexor in. And then here we go. Release your knee, but keep your leg in the air. Take a deep breath, stretch your arms overhead, and then as you exhale, softly bend your left knee, step your right foot as far to the back of your mat as you can. Once you touch down, bring your hands to frame your left foot, and then scooch your right foot back a little further. So you get this nice wide stance. Start to feel that stretch in your inner thighs, maybe the front of your right hip. You can stay on your right fingertips or plant your right palm, but you're going to peel your left arm open for a low twist. Hey, overhead camera. I say this in every video. I'm sorry. I just really love this overhead camera. So draw your shoulders away from your ears and then really turn your heart to face the sky. But don't force anything. So just keep breathing deeply. Keep your back leg as straight as you can. Take one more deep breath in and then gently come down. Coming to plank pose as you're ready. Plant your palms. Step left foot back to meet right. Take a big breath in, and then exhale all the way down to your mat. Spider Cobra. So from here, you're going to untuck your toes, straighten your legs out behind you. Think about sending your big toes straight back. So that's going to keep your legs really, really straight, and you're kind of hugging your outer ankles in, right? Tent your fingertips up about 6 inches in front of your shoulders and just a little wider than shoulder width distance. So you've got all fingertips on the ground, and then your elbows are going to point straight up towards the ceiling like little spider legs. Tuck your chin to your chest, and then just begin to push down into the ground to lift your heart off of your mat. Come a little bit higher, roll your shoulder heads away from your ears, and then as much as you want, whatever you feel ready for, your arms are going to work towards straight. And if you see what's happening, there's a really nice back bend happening right in my thoracic spine, like right behind your shoulder blades. So slide your shoulders down away from your ears again. Straighten your arms as much as you want. You're going to keep your hips on the ground so that this bend is happening right behind your heart. Take your gaze up to the sky, really push your chest forward. Take one more deep breath in, and then gently release on your exhale. Setting up for downward facing dog, plant your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes and engage your core. On your inhale, you're going to come to hands and knees or plank pose, and then exhale your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now just drop your head low, take a couple breaths. Keep your neck really long, press the ground away with your hands, sink your heels down towards your mat. And as you're ready, bend your knees, gaze forward, come up high onto your tiptoes, and you can step or float to the top of your mat, whatever is more comfortable. Drop your head, release your neck. On your inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back, glance forward, and then exhale, fold right back down. Coming to standing, so take your arms out wide, flatten your back, soften your knees, inhale all the way up, press your palms together above your head, and then exhale, Anjali Mudra, hands in heart center. So we're going to go through something similar again, adding on just a little bit, starting in tree pose. So as you're ready, you're going to plant your right foot, take your left foot up, either to ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Whatever you can do. Squeeze your thigh into your foot. Let your left knee soften out to the left. Just a couple of breaths this time in tree pose. And this time, instead of keeping your hands at prayer, wherever you are, see if you can challenge your balance and take your arms overhead. Palms touch. Pull your biceps behind your ears. If you want even more of a challenge, start to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And just these subtle differences in focus, right? See how they change the whole pose. And then gently bring your hands back down to prayer. Grab your left knee with both of your hands, hug it into your chest, just like we did before. Now this time, release your knee, keep it up in the air. Take your arms above your head. One more deep breath in here. As you exhale, we're coming to Warrior 3. So you're going to shoot your arms forward as you send your left leg back. Eventually, you're going to get to a capital T shape with your body, right? And then the tendency is for your hips to start opening. You want to drop your outer left hip. Really trust your right glute muscle here. It's doing a lot of work. Send your heart forward. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, and then kick back with your left foot. Really strengthen that back leg. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, softly bend your right knee. Step your left foot far back, but this time stay up. High crescent lunge. Take a couple breaths here, and then really sit down into that right thigh. At the same time, press the back of your left knee to the sky, and then draw your tailbone down. Tilt your pelvis forward. Pull your low belly up towards your heart. Lift your arms a little bit higher, and then exhale your hands to your mat. Plant your left hand, just like we did before. Peel your chest open to the right. Lift your right arm to the sky. Take a couple breaths here. See if you can pull your right hip back a little bit. You're going for length. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale your hands to your mat. Now here comes the fun part. Plant your left hand on your mat. And this is going to be like a fast movement, right? You're going to lower your left heel down, so you're coming to the outer edge of your left foot. Take your right foot on top of your left, and then lift up your right arm. Side plank, Vashisthasana. So there's a lot of modifications for this pose. If you have any wrist injuries or wrist pain, just come down to your forearm for forearm side plank. If you're not quite here yet, just put your left knee on the ground. So you can do this with your elbow down or your hand down. You can keep your right foot flat on the ground and then try to point your tailbone straight back towards your heel. You don't want to kind of dump into your low back, right? Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, make your way to plank pose. Legs out straight behind you. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes, lift your heart for cobra pose. And then exhale, release. Coming to downward facing dog, tuck your toes, lift up through plank on your inhale. And then exhale, up and back. Drop your head low, lift your hips high. And then as you're ready, gaze forward, bend your knees, come up high on your toes, step or float to the top of your mat, and drop your head. Inhale, flatten your back, and then exhale, fold. As you inhale, come all the way to standing, press your palms together above your head, look up, camera. Exhale, mountain pose, hands at heart center. So let's try the other side. From here, don't even think too much about it. Just plant your left foot firmly. Take a deep breath in. Lift your right foot. Either heel to ankle, heel to calf, or heel to inner thigh. Just never on your knee. You never want lateral pressure on your knee. Squeeze your foot and your leg together. Soften your right knee out to the right. Bring your hands to prayer if you can. And then if you want a little bit of an added challenge, take your arms above your head and then really try to pull your fingertips as far away from your bottom foot as you can. You could even start to look up towards the ceiling, challenge your balance even more, see what that changes about the pose. Remember to breathe deeply. And then bring your hands back down to prayer. You're going to turn your right knee forward, catch it in both of your hands. Squeeze it into your chest. And then slow and steady. Keep your right knee in the air, but lift your arms. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, step all the way back to warrior 3. So your right leg is going to lift as your heart goes forward. And then see how sometimes your hips start to open. So you're going to work on dropping the outer part of your right hip. Pull your left hip back. And then as far forward as you send your heart, you're going to send your right foot. So you could either point or flex your toes, whatever's more comfortable. Really strengthen your right leg. Push your fingertips forward. Take one more breath in. And then exhale your right foot to the back of your mat. High crescent lunge, arms all the way up. Really strong pose. Sit low into your left thigh, really low. Push the back of your right knee straight. And then tilt your pelvis forward, tailbone down. Take your low belly up, ribs closed, biceps behind your ears if you can. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, frame your left foot with your hands. Keep your right hand where it is. Float your left hand to the sky. Twisting lunge. Draw your shoulder blades together behind you. Keep your back leg really straight. Keep lunging deep into that left leg and then pull your left hip back, nice and far. Fan your fingertips wide. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, plant your left foot, setting up for side plank on the other side. So plant your right palm down and then come to the outer edge of your right foot. Take your left foot on top of your right and lift your left arm to the sky. So like I said, if you want to modify, you're going to bring your right knee to the ground. Keep your left leg as straight as you can. And then instead of dumping into your low back, you're going to send your tailbone straight back towards your left heel. Arms straight, unless you're on your forearm, which is totally fine. Take one more breath in. And then exhale both hands to your mat and make your way to your plank pose. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. This time, stay all the way down. We're going to come to a cobra locust variation. So interlace your hands at your low back. Keep your chin on your mat for now. Try to keep the heels of your hands together. So for some of you, your elbows might be really bent, and that's fine. And eventually they'll work towards straight. Roll your shoulders behind your spine. Take your shoulder heads down away from your ears. Press the tops of your feet into your mat and lift your heart. So breathe deep. Really push your chest forward. Use your arm strength to push your knuckles towards the back of your mat, towards your toes, and then lift higher. Lift your knuckles off of your hips. Open your heart as much as you can. Really, really open the front of your body. Press your toes down. Maybe your kneecaps lift. Take 2 more breaths here. Last breath in. And then exhale, release. Coming to child's pose. All you're doing is going to plant your palms beneath your shoulders and then take your weight, your hips all the way back to your heels. Rest your head on your mat. And if your head doesn't reach your mat, you can rest it on your forearms or any kind of blanket or block, or even roll up the front edge of your mat. And just stay here for a couple breaths. Move around a little bit. And release. And then as you're ready from child's pose, you just slowly make your way up to hands and knees, tabletop, just long enough for you to come to a seat with your legs out in front of you. So we're setting up for a forward fold. And so come to a space, move up a little on your mat so that you've got some room behind you for when we lie down. Keep your legs together, flex your toes towards your face. Inhale your arms to the sky, lift your heart, and then as you exhale, hinge at your hips. Send your heart towards your toes. And it doesn't matter how far you go. It's not about getting deep. It's about just feeling really good in your back body, right? So your hamstrings, your spine, even your calves, the backs of your ankles. You might even feel it in your feet. You can let your head relax. Have a few breaths. And something I like to do when I'm in a forward fold is walk my hips back a little bit. So I really get that elongation of the hamstrings. And just relax here for a minute. Try to keep your toes flexing towards your face. And let your hands rest anywhere. Thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet. If you find that this is easy for you and you want a little bit more, you can always take an object and put it at the end of your feet. Like a blanket or some books or a block or something, and it lets you fold a little bit deeper. Last breath in, and last breath out. And slowly lift all the way up, take it nice and slow. Arms out in front of you. Now this time curl your spine, round your spine, and as slowly as you can, you're going to roll down, 1 vertebra at a time, until you come all the way down to your back. So our last pose is going to be a twist. And keep your left leg out straight. Take your right knee into your chest, like we were doing standing up. You're going to take your right arm out to the right. And use your left hand to guide your right knee across your body. And keep your left leg nice and straight. And then you're going to work towards softening your shoulders down onto your mat. Take your gaze to follow your right hand. And just relax here. So it shouldn't be too much work, just an easy twist. And twisting, like I said, is really good for digestion. Nice massage on the colon, on the gut. And as you inhale, slowly come back to center. Switch your legs. Right leg out straight. Bend your left knee. Draw it into your chest, nice and soft. And then take your left arm out to the left. Use your right hand to guide your left knee across your body to your own degree. And take your gaze to follow your left hand so everything's twisting from the top of your head all the way down to the base of your spine. Relax, soften both of your shoulders down onto your mat or work towards that wherever you are. Have a few breaths. And then as you're ready, inhale, come back to center. And this time, draw both of your knees into your chest. Draw them in tightly. Give yourself a big squeeze. Take a deep breath in, squeeze everything in. And then as you exhale, let it all go. Soften down onto your mat. Find your Shavasana. Really any pose that's going to allow you to relax completely. Whatever that is, spread everything as wide as you want. Let your palms and your feet fall open. Relax your throat, your mouth, lips, teeth, tongue. Relax the rest of your face, your nose, your eyelids, and even your eyebrows, and your forehead. And just lie here and let everything be still. You're welcome to stay like this as long as you want, as much as you have time for. I encourage you to take the longest Shavasana that you can. It's a real treat to be able to just stay still. Just really be still. And when you're ready to come out, just start to deepen your breath and allow your fingers and toes to move around a little bit. And roll your head from side to side. And take a good morning stretch if you'd like to. Arms back behind your head, toes out in front. And then whenever you feel ready, find your way to a comfortable seat. Any kind of seat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to comment, like this video, subscribe, favorite it, come back to it as many times as you want. I'm open to suggestions, especially travel tips right now as I'm getting ready to leave to fly home next week. So any tips you have about airplane travel would be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in more advanced yoga, check my website, vetrafitness.com, and I will see you on the mat. Namaste.